Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever really thought about your tongue? I mean, besides for tasting food, it's kind of like a personal health dashboard that's just sitting right there in your mouth. And believe me, it holds a ton of secrets about what's going on inside your body. So for the next few minutes, we're going to go on a little guided tour. Go ahead and grab a mirror and let's get started.
No, I'm totally serious. Get that mirror and give it a shot. Come on, nobody's watching. Can you do it? It's a pretty fun little party trick, but it's also the perfect way to kick off our self-check. So if you just managed to do that, hey, congratulations! You are officially in a very exclusive club. Less than 10% of the entire population can pull that off. It's actually called the Gorlin sign, and it's way more common in people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a condition that affects your body's connective tissues. But for most people, it's just a really cool, kind of weird talent.
Speaking of cool tongue facts, let's just bust a huge myth right now. You've probably heard it a million times. The tongue is the strongest muscle in the body. Well, guess what? It's not true, not even close. It's actually a super complex bundle of 8 different muscles working together. But here's the thing, while it may not be the strongest, it is definitely one of the most revealing. And that's exactly what we're here to unpack.
All right, first stop on our tour, color. This is one of the quickest, most obvious things you can check. So get that mirror back out, stick out your tongue, and let's take a really close look.
So here's our baseline. This is what we're aiming for. A healthy tongue should have a nice, even pink color, and it should be covered in these tiny little bumps. Those bumps are called papillae. They're where your taste buds live, and they give your tongue that kind of rough, carpet-like texture. If this is what you see, you're golden.
Now, what if your tongue looks different? What if instead of that bumpy pink landscape, it's really red, kind of swollen, and almost glossy smooth? You might be looking at something called glossitis. That smoothness happens because you've lost those papillae, and it can be a huge clue that your body is screaming for a certain nutrient, very often vitamin B12.
And this is a real-world thing. I mean, check this out. A woman came in to see her doctor with a really painful, bright red, completely smooth tongue. They ran some tests, and sure enough, she had a severe vitamin B12 deficiency that was caused by an autoimmune issue. The solution? After just 1 month of B12 shots, her tongue was right back to being pink and bumpy. Oh, and a quick heads up for all the vegetarians and vegans out there, B12 is mostly found in animal products, so you're at a higher risk for this. Please make sure you're taking your supplements.
Okay, moving on to our second checkpoint. We're talking about the actual physical traits of your tongue. Its size, its shape. These things aren't random. They can be incredibly powerful signs about your health.
So, there's a condition called macroglossia, which is just the fancy medical term for having a tongue that's a bit too big for your mouth. And there's a super simple way you can check for this at home. Stick your tongue out and look at the sides. Do you see little ridges or imprints that look like they match up with your teeth? That's called scalloping, and it's a classic sign that your tongue is literally pressing for space.
Now, here's what's so fascinating. The speed at which the tongue gets bigger tells a huge part of the story. If your tongue swells up all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that's an emergency. It could be a severe allergic reaction, and you need to get to a hospital, like right now. If it's a slow, gradual growth over time, it might point to a bigger issue, like a problem with your thyroid. And hey, if it's just always been kind of big, that's probably just how you were built. It's just you.
Okay, one more check. Open your mouth as wide as you can and say, ah. See how much space you can see at the very back of your throat? In a clinic, they call this a Mallampati score. For you, it's a quick and dirty way to check your risk for sleep apnea. If your tongue is so big that it's blocking the view back there, there's a good chance it could also block your airway when you're sleeping. And trust me, you do not want to sleep on that one. It's definitely something worth getting checked out.
All right, let's tackle something a lot of people notice, a white coating on the tongue. Now look, a thin white film that you can brush away is totally normal, no big deal. But if you're seeing stubborn white patches that just won't go away, it's time to put on our detective hats.
Just think of this as your cheat sheet. The most important question to ask is, can you scrape it off? If the answer is yes, and it kind of looks like cottage cheese, you're probably looking at thrush, which is just a common yeast infection. But if you can't scrape it off, you got to look closer. Is it a flat, hard plaque? That could be something called leukoplakia. Does it look like a lacy white wed? That's likely oral lichen planus. And if it looks kind of hairy and it's on the sides of your tongue, well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that last one, hairy leukoplakia, is a really big deal. It's caused by the same virus that causes mono, but it pretty much only shows up when your immune system is seriously weakened. There's this incredible case of a 29-year-old guy who felt totally healthy, but his doctor spotted these patches on the side of his tongue. He ran some tests, and that is how the man was diagnosed with HIV. His tongue was literally the very first sign that something was wrong.
Okay, let's move on to checkpoint 4. We need to talk about those annoying, sometimes really painful, lumps and sores that just show up in our mouths. Look, most of the time, they're nothing to worry about, but it is absolutely crucial to know when they might be a sign of something much more serious.
You ever get one of those little sharp, painful canker sores inside your mouth? Yeah, if you have, you are in very good company. About 1 out of every 5 people gets them. They're a total pain for sure, but they aren't contagious and they usually go away on their own in a week or so.
And right here, this is the million-dollar question. We all get so used to little irritations in our mouths that it becomes really easy to just blow something off that actually needs your full attention. So how in the world do you tell the difference between a simple canker sore and a major red flag?
Pay attention here. These are the red flags. You have to see a doctor if you find a new lump on your tongue, if you have an ulcer or a sore that just doesn't heal after 2 or 3 weeks, or if you suddenly start getting sores over and over when you never used to. And here is the most important thing I will say. Tongue cancers in the early stages are often painless. Don't wait for it to hurt to get it checked out. And if you smoke or have HPV, you need to be extra careful.
All right, welcome to the grand finale of our tongue tour. We are now entering the weird and wonderful world of truly strange tongue conditions. These are the ones that'll really make you do a double take in the mirror.
So on the left, you've got strawberry tongue, and it looks, well, exactly like a strawberry. It's bright red, swollen, and the papillae are really prominent. In kids, this can be a classic sign of things like scarlet fever. Then on the right, you have geographic tongue. It creates this crazy map-like pattern of smooth red patches. It looks really dramatic, but it's actually completely harmless. It just seems to be more common in people with immune-related conditions. Okay, you might want to brace yourselves for this next one. I'm just giving you a fair warning, because this condition is without a doubt the most wild-looking one of them all. You ready?
And there it is, black, hairy tongue. Now, this is a perfect storm of a few different factors coming together to create something that looks terrifying but really isn't. First of all, it's not actually hair. It's a massive buildup of keratin, the same protein that your hair is made of. It happens when those little papillae on your tongue forget to shed, so they get super long and start trapping gunk and bacteria. The best part? It's completely reversible with some good old-fashioned brushing and tongue scraping.
And that, my friends, concludes our tour. If you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Your tongue is an amazing, easy-to-access tool for keeping an eye on your health. Taking literally 5 seconds to look at it in the mirror every single day when you brush your teeth. That is a simple, powerful habit that could make a huge difference. So now you have the tools. You know how to read the first few pages of the story your tongue is telling you. You know what a healthy tongue looks like, and you know what some of the red flags are, from color and size to weird patches and sores that just won't quit. So, be curious, pay attention, and listen to what your body is trying to tell you.